Medgar Evers.
By Brandon Odegaard, Flora Di Pasquale, and Jasmine Price.
Medgar Evers, a man who had a vision and prominent voice for the future to have improved lives for colored people. He has organized a boycott to let blacks use the same restrooms as whites. In life and tragically after death, Medgar has affected and continues to affect lives of everyone around him.
On the day of July 2nd, 1925, a leader was born and a legacy was soon to be started. He was originally from Decatur, Mississippi, drafted from the U.S. Army in the year of 1943. Medgar's service was stationed in France and Germany for World War II. In 1948, he enrolled in Alcorn College. There he was a member of different activities such as football and choir.
He met his future wife, Merle Beasley. They soon married December 24, 1951, and blessed with their 3 children, Raina, James, and Daryl. He worked as an insurance agent until 1954. He later became involved in the Regional Council of Negro Leadership and was announced president.
February 1954, Evers applied to the University of Mississippi Law School and was rejected because of his skin color, but this did not stop him. He volunteered to help the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People integrate the university with a lawsuit, but failed once again. His leadership was then recognized by the NAACP. Later in 1954, Medgar became the first field secretary for the NAACP.
In May of 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court finally made a decision on the Brown v. Board of Education case. The decision ended segregation in schools but took years before it was fully implemented.
He recruited new members for the NAACP and organized voter registration efforts. At the same time, Evers led demonstrations and economic boycotts of white-owned companies that practiced discrimination.
He was one of Mississippi's most prominent and determined civil rights activists. He fought racial injustices in many forms, including how the state and local legal system handled crimes against African Americans. Evers' first investigation was the 1955 lynching of Emmett Till, a 14-year-old African American boy who had allegedly been murdered for flirting with a white woman. He also protested the conviction of his fellow Mississippi civil rights activist Clyde Kennard on theft charges in 1960.
Despite all the things that he's accomplished, he knew that he was a target for those who opposed racial equality and desegregation. Him and his family would receive threats and violent actions. In the month of May 1963, his house was firebombed.
I've had a number of threatening calls, people calling me saying that they were going to kill me, saying that they were going to blow my home up, and saying that I only had a few hours to live.
On June 12, 1963, at 12:40 a.m., Medgar was shot and killed in his driveway after a long day at work. His wife and kids witnessed the murder. Sadly, he died less than an hour later at a nearby hospital.
His assassin was Byron de la Beckwith, a white segregationist and founding member of Mississippi's White Citizens Council. 31 years after Evers' death, Beckwith was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Merle was present every step of the way to seek justice. Beckwith died January 21, 2001 at the age of 80.
Medgar was buried with full military honors in Arlington National Cemetery. The NAACP also awarded him their 1965 Spring Iron Medal. There was a national outrage over Evers' murder. It increased support for legislation that would soon become the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Since his passing, Medgar's contributions to the civil rights movement has been recognized and honored in many ways. His widow created what is now known as the Medgar and Merle Institute in Jackson, Mississippi, to continue the couple's commitment to social change. The City University of New York has named one of its campuses after his slain activist. In 2009, the U.S. Navy also bestowed his name on one of their vessels.
We had the opportunity to interview his 2 great nieces, Courtney and Corey Cockrell.
Well, that was, a larger part of an issue that he thought was important as far as, civil rights in general. He had an emphasis on voting rights as well as just regular accommodations that black people weren't afforded. And basically, he just thought that everybody should be afforded the same opportunities. And he just made that his mission to do what he could to make sure that those rules were applied across the board. And one of the things I'd like to add is that he knew going that route or taking measures to ensure that African Americans were afforded the same rights as everyone in this country. He knew that he was putting his life on the line, but he made that sacrifice. And and pushed forward in order to make sure that, he didn't let fear get in the way of what he felt like was the ultimate goal, which was so important for so many people.
Okay, thank you.
Nearly 50 years after his death, Barack Obama was elected. In Murley's words, Medgar did not die in vain. In 2017, President Obama designated his home as a National History Landmark. Today, African Americans have had many more opportunities in life. Medgar was one of the people to help make this happen. Medgar, we thank you for your service, bravery, and inspiration.
We're not just interested in voting so that conditions will be improved for Negroes. We want conditions improved for everybody.